About the future of welcome to this interesting talk about the future of alt proteins and how artificial intelligence, or AI, can be used as a tool in this growing sector. So, as we all know, AI has been a hot topic for quite a while now, but it seemed to hit a milestone just recently with the release of, we all know, Chat GPT, and now it seems like that's pretty much all we hear about is Chat GPT and artificial intelligence. It seemed to kind of just explode suddenly, even though it was coming gradually. But this announcement was a big announcement. So that's been the big topic recently: is the future of artificial intelligence, the future and present of artificial intelligence. Many people are afraid. Some people are very excited. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, obviously this can be used as a tool for many industries. And of course, the topic of today's discussion, which is alt proteins. So on a personal level, I am not crazy about the term alt proteins because, of course, we've had proteins for millennia coming from plants, and it doesn't all come from animals. But that's the term that's been used, and so that's the term we'll stick with. And basically, it just refers to plant-based meat alternatives and mycelium or mycelium. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that correctly. I guess it depends where you're from. Which is basically mushrooms, you can say. It's what mushrooms are made of. And of course, another hot topic, which is cultivated meat. So joining us here today, we're still waiting for Sam Tucker from Big Catalyst and Matt Hudsey from the Good Food Institute. But with us right now is Santosh Kumar. He is the Chief Technology Officer of the Live Green Company, which is originally from Chile, right now has its headquarters in Boston, and Santosh is in India. So it's a very international company, and this is a very international talk. I'm in Madrid, Spain, and wherever you may be, welcome. So, Santosh, so let's get started with Santosh, of course, since you're here with us. So, Santosh, can you go ahead and basically tell us a little bit about yourself and how you ended up with the Live Green Company, and basically, what is the Live Green Company? How did it start? Tell us a little bit. So go ahead.
Sure, sure. Good evening, everyone. I'm Santosh. I head data science and technology at the Live Green Co. Being associated with Live Green right from the time of inception. Took up a full-time role with them 3 years back, and very excited to be part of the team and working in the team right now. So
Okay,
just
great.
quick background. I did my engineering from the Indian Institute of Technology, more commonly known as IITs.
Hmm.
Just uh, just being at that time, Google was getting launched, and data science, software, anything related to technology has always been my passion for a very long time, and that was honed as part of my engineering.
Hmm.
Uh, continued to work in the same domain pretty much over the last 2 decades. Worked over building solutions in multiple domains: banking, investing, online real estate. Did that for 20 years almost. Fast forward, one of our alums happens to be the CEO of Google now, Sundar
Hmm.
Pichai, and we take a lot of pride in the contributions made by the university, and that has stuck on with me. Live Green's focus is to accelerate the world's transition to healthy, local, and sustainable foods using proprietary technology. And as a father of a 5-year-old, it resonated with me very strongly. After 20 years of experience in the finance industry and other technology industries, I'm very passionate about leaving behind a better world, and the opportunity with Live Green emerged, and I grabbed it with a lot of excitement. Now, just to give you an idea about more about Live Green, right? On this topic and how AI plays a role. Food is by far probably one of the most important industries on the planet. The impact that the food industry can make on the planet, on
Yeah.
on on, on the population is so significant. But if you look at it, there's really been a lack of innovation when you compare it with other industries. Data science has been so actively used in medicine, genomics, health, and food, which is supposed to be the first medicine, leaves a lot of opportunity for being tapped.
Mm-hmm.
And I strongly believe we haven't even scratched the surface of using AI in the food industry. And at Live Green, one of our key goals is to use technology to make the change happen, to leave the world in a better place with much more sustainable food systems. And
Yeah.
Live Green overall, just to summarize for you, the three future-looking goals for the company. One is to build a scalable technology which takes us as a enabler, as a large scale change agent in this transition. We want to be the Intel Inside of the food industry. And while we do this, we have a unique approach. We try to use the best of nature and the best of science to make that happen. And our technology is built upon these three fundamental concepts: scalable tech, being a cooperative enabler in the market to help transition happen, and use nature and science together to make solutions happen.
Excellent, excellent. Santos, so I see there on the, well, from my position on the upper right of your screen,
Yes.
it says characa or characa. I don't know how you would pronounce it. In Spanish, we would say characa.
Charakas,
Uh, okay, good, good. So can you tell us a little bit, what is characa or characa, however you want to pronounce it?
sure. So the core of LiveGreen's technology is a machine learning and data science platform called the Charaka, and that's the
Okay.
bag, and that's the platform. Just to expand on that a bit, Charaka is basically a very robust, extensive, expanding database of plants, of plant ingredients, along with a lot of information which is proprietary in nature with respect to plant properties, formulations. It combines various streams of information from functional properties, biotechnology, and we use a lot of machine learning models and algorithms and technology to basically create plant-only alternatives to artificial ultra-processed ingredients, and also to remove the animal ingredients which are commonly prevalent in food by using plant-only substitute.
Okay, okay, I see. So it's a kind of artificial intelligence system,
Yes,
correct?
correct.
Yeah. I see. Excellent. So you use that to build the right ingredients. Oh, that's fascinating. That's fascinating. Okay, great. Yeah, I reported on the Live Green Co. Several times when I worked for an economist. So it's a pleasure to have you here,
Thank
speaking
you.
to someone from the company. And I'm glad to know it's grown so much just in the last few years. Because when I first started, I know there were very few people,
Yes,
etc. So it's great to have everybody here. So let's go ahead and talk a little bit in general now about
sure.
how the AI, the emerging AI industry is affecting and affecting the alt protein industry. So my first question would be, why do you think alt protein companies who use AI may be at an advantage compared to those who do not use it?
Sure. So the innovation in the al protein space is just beginning. All right, and in fact, the application of AI in the food space is just beginning. There, fundamentally, if you look at it, the all protein innovation is going to be driven by data. It's going to be driven by discoveries. It's going to be driven by data analysis. It's going to be driven by putting the right resources in the right hypothesis to make scalable all protein food products and alt protein options available to the market. And all of this is going to be more effective the more actively we use data, the more actively we capture feedback loops, and the more actively we employ, emerging algorithms. And for instance, you just mentioned ChatGPT. ChatGPT is a good language model, a very good language model for certain applications. And but it's not, it doesn't define AI. AI is way more expensive,
Hmm.
and ChatGPT is a wonderful tool to certain things, and there are other AI tools which can suit better in better use cases. Now, if you look at it fundamentally, for al proteins, you know, finding the right proteins, identifying the right proteins, making hypotheses that can exist, or the hypothesis that can be made in a successful manner, really determines how we do in that space. And that's going to be really possible by applying AI and data
Okay.
together to make that discovery happen. Already we are
Okay.
looking at structure analysis, we are looking at genomic analysis, we are looking at things like precision fermentation. We've got lots of AI being used to create new ingredients, new food compositions. A lot of personalization using AI. All these are really cutting edge activities and options that still
Okay.
exist and are way far from maturing in a complete sense. But the opportunity is really significant in the al protein space.
Okay. Great. 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 Yeah, I guess it's these days with AI, a lot of people like to say that human creativity and ingenuity should be enough, but not always. This is definitely a tool that can be used.
Exactly. Yes.
That's definitely definitely useful. Much it makes things go a lot quicker because a lot of people kind of freak out a little bit. Like, oh wow, is this thing is this going to take our jobs? Well, let's hope not. Let's hope not, but let's look at it at least as a tool to improve a lot of industry and yeah, to make the world more sustainable and make better plant-based or all protein foods if we include cultivated meat as well.
Yes.
You know, I wonder if all protein companies have a greater advantage when they use AI compared to traditional meat companies who also use AI, since all proteins also they allow for more creativity.
Yes.
What are your thoughts? I don't know. Do you think that's true, or would it be about the same?
Sure. So at this point, first, just coming back to your last point, I think the phobia around AI to a certain extent is true, but I think there are much more reasons for us to be really excited about them. Right?
Okay.
AI changes the game. AI changes the potential opportunities, and it's something that we need to embrace without being blind to it. Right? AI, if you look at it, it fundamentally is trained on data, trained on biases, trained on information that's available, that is quickly adapting and changing, and that needs
Okay.
to be taken into account while you use AI. But having said that, I do think that Al Protein's space have a higher advantage than the traditional meat companies,
Yeah.
fundamentally because of reasons that I just spoke about. We have opportunities to really innovate in the Al Protein space, and using technology and accelerating it becomes a very strong advantage to find newer solutions and experiment with newer alternatives, which can be highly personalized, highly localized, highly made relevant to the use case, and made relevant to the opportunity that's being tapped into.
Okay. Okay, great. Yeah, so it's definitely at an advantage. Yeah, because you're making, new foods and, using,
Yes.
you can use so many different ingredients, while, animal ingredients are pretty much animal ingredients, there's only so much you can get from a chicken, unless they're going to like inject the chicken with extra flavors. It's, what I say, why do
Yeah.
that when you can just make something from plants or, or fermentation and all that. So here's another question. Is it possible for AI systems? Do you think that one day, they'll be able to run an entire alt protein company all on their own? You think that'll ever happen? Do you think that's a possibility?
Fundamentally, that's a debate which will continue. All right. If
Yeah,
you if
yeah,
you
yeah.
if you see it, when I was graduating, we had computers innovated. We said computers are going to steal our jobs. That didn't really happen.
Yeah.
The opportunity for employment really exploded. The internet
Yeah.
came in, anybody can work from across the globe. Robotics
Yeah.
was introduced. We were scared about robotics taking over. That still hasn't happened. So
Yeah.
fundamentally, I think AI is a beautiful tool, excellent tool. I'm not very worried about AI's domination over the planet. I think
Mm.
a real differentiator will people who will be embracing the technology, working hand
Okay.
in hand, using the technology with in a synergistic way, with experts, with technologists, with people from various disciplines to solve problems. So in short, I don't see AI as taking over the world. I see AI as being a really fundamental game changer for companies that embrace it and make innovative solutions happen in the market.
Okay. Yeah. So it shouldn't be anything to fear. It's always, it's like somebody said recently, like when spell checker first came out, when you write on Word, people said, "Oh
Right.
no, all the proofreaders are going to lose their job," and I don't think so. I
Not
don't
yet.
think many people lost their jobs. Maybe they had to be a little bit better, and they couldn't be so.
Yes.
They had to go a little bit above and beyond and not be so simple. So I would think that's what would happen. That's what would happen. Do you think other plant-based companies will start to use AI systems in the future? Or do you think it'll just be like a niche thing, like just very few companies will hold on to it, and most companies will stay traditional? I guess it's a hypothetical question. We don't really know, but I don't know. What are your thoughts, Santosh?
Uh, so technology has become much more affordable. All right, like if you
Yeah,
see, you started off with ChatGPT. ChatGPT is in use everywhere,
yeah,
and everybody's using it. So fundamentally, the adoption of AI has really seen its peaking moment with the new releases, and I think the adoption is only going to increase with time. And with taking that into account, I see a lot of adoption happening among
yeah.
the plant space, and it's going to be various levels of maturity. But I do think people are going to use data, people are going to use technology, people are going to use algorithms, and ideally, people are going to use prediction through AI to make solutions happen. So overall, it may range in the breadth of application, but I think this
Okay.
is a fundamental shift that's going to happen across the board.
Okay, great. And another interesting one is, I guess, well, two things that are pretty much just coming out now are AI and cultivated meat, which I believe it's totally approved or definitely on the path to getting approved in the United States. I know there's
Yes.
Upside Foods,
Yeah.
and I forgot the other one that's in Singapore, but they're also in the U.S. The
Yes.
Good Eat, I forgot. But I know it's pretty much on the path to getting approved. I'm curious. I don't know if this year there will be cultivated meat in the supermarkets. If not this year, I would think definitely next year in 2024. I'm not sure exactly. I would have to ask somebody who really knows about that. But I wonder what opportunities there are also for AI systems in the cultivated meat system in the cultivated meat sector. Do you think that can also revolutionize the cultivated meat area just as much as plant-based meat?
Yes, most definitely, most definitely. I think there's a lot of opportunity for growing cultivated meat. It needs to grow through its hype cycle and through the product maturity. But I do think that's going to be a solution for many geographies, particularly geographies which need cultivated meat at scale, and the traditional sources are going to lack in those areas. So I see the change happening, and I see it on a growth path.
Okay, great, great, great. Oh, I see. So I see Sam Tucker is here. Hi, Sam. How you doing?
Hey, sorry that I'm late. The time zones got a little bit mixed up. I thought that it was 3 a.m. Turns out it's 2 a.m. our time.
Oh boy, sorry. Yeah, you know what happened is here. Well, here in Spain, we went forward just this weekend, so I think that's causing a bit of confusion. So everybody's a little bit thrown off because this is the first Monday that we have, that we're 1 hour. In the US, we say fall back, fall, autumn,
Mhm.
fall back, and then spring forward for spring.
Yeah.
So I always remember that. So That's okay. Yeah, it happens. It happens. I'm imagining
Yeah, it's a
maybe.
little confusing here in Australia because some of our states have daylight savings and some of them don't. And I've just been traveling over this last weekend to one of the ones that doesn't. So hence the
Yeah.
confusion.
All right. Well, good to see you. Good to see you, Sam. So yeah, I was just here talking to Santosh of the Live Green Company. So Sam, can you tell us a little bit of is it veg catalyst or veg catalyst?
I say veg catalyst.
Okay, veg catalyst. Okay, great. All right, great. So can you go ahead and tell us a little bit about veg catalyst and how AI is, how you're using AI to promote the, vegan and alt protein foods?
Yeah, absolutely. So we started off originally as just a marketing agency on our vegan creative compass side, but we
Okay.
found that AI was really helping us to scale up our workflow and to produce not just a higher quantity of content for our clients, but also higher quality. But one of the problems we noticed with conventional AI systems, things like GPT-3, for example, and other sort of softwares that were based on that, like Copy AI, Jasper, they would often create content that really just didn't work for vegan businesses. Like we had a vegan fashion client, for example, and we were asking it to write copy about vegan shoes, and it would say things like, "Oh, they're made from beautiful cow skin." It's like, no, you've completely missed the point. So
Yeah.
we originally started developing an early version of VEG3, originally just to be used as an internal tool within our company. But we found that, after testing it, it was actually working really well and that it could have a much bigger impact if we shared this tool with the world. So we released a beta version of VEG3, which is our vegan artificial intelligence marketing assistant software. It started off just essentially an AI copywriter, but we've now expanded to including predictions as well. So we can actually predict the performance of marketing content before it goes live, which can save, a lot of money as well as like time and effort and split testing different ads, for example. And we've also integrated a research library and an AI powered chatbot as well.
Okay. Okay. Great. So, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and ask you. I just asked Santosh a few questions, but I'll ask you the same questions. And I'd like to
Mhm.
hear your take so we can get some different perspectives. Because I think they are pretty interesting questions. I don't know where Santosh went, but okay. Uh, so, the first question is, why do you think alt protein companies who use AI are at an advantage, pretty much? Why are they at an advantage as opposed to all protein companies that say they refuse to use it or they're not using it? What is the advantage, Sam?
Yeah, so I mean, it's hard to kind of just pick one, but to kind of like try to narrow that answer down, I think that one of the massive advantages of AI is that it can look at a lot more data than any individual human can on their own, or even a large team of humans. So
Yeah,
I think this is especially relevant when we're talking about things like digital marketing, where often for businesses, we have millions and millions of active rows of monthly data.
yeah.
And it's really impossible to even like get your head around how do you extract insights from that. But AI can do that very seamlessly. So I think that's one huge advantage is that they're going to be able to see those insights that others are going to miss. And there's
Okay.
also the obvious advantage of like cost and efficiency as well. If you have even just like a small team of marketers that use AI, then you can get the power of having a much larger team for much lower cost. And you're going to get more insights as well. So it's also going to be simultaneously better quantity and better quality. And it's very rare in business that you can increase both of those at the same time while also decreasing your costs. But AI presents a really unique opportunity to do that.
Okay. Yeah. Just like I was talking with Santosh, a lot of people are kind of afraid that they're going to lose their jobs and things, but no, we can, use this as a tool and, basically help improve the industry as a whole, a lot of industries. But we're hoping, this especially helps the alt protein, industry for many reasons, for, animal rights, for environment, for everything. I look at it as quite a unique industry in that sense that it's very positive. Unfortunately, one of the few positive industries out there, with that and renewable energy. A lot of other industries aren't so beneficial to the planet. But hopefully, we'll get new ones, that are more beneficial, and everything starts to change. So the next question, which I had asked, which I spoke to Santosh about, and I'd like to hear your take, is it's interesting how you know uh, AI can help the alt protein sector, but do you think that AI can help the alt protein sector more than the traditional meat sector? Let's say both start to use alt proteins. Do you think there's an advantage for the alt protein sector just because there's room for more creativity? I don't know. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I definitely think that's the case. So, I mean, there's kind of two different sides to this. I mean, there's a lot of use cases for AI within alt protein, but if you kind of divide it broadly into like creating the product and promoting the product, right? So, in terms
Okay.
of creating the product, definitely there's a lot more use case there. Like the conventional way that we've, made meat from animals is obviously like very inefficient, but it's also very stuck. It's like one way of doing things. Whereas
Yeah.
with plants, we have what, like 40,000 edible species more. And so there's so many different combinations of these things that we can make. So definitely there's a lot more potential on that side of things. And I'd also say on the marketing side of things, there's a lot more potential as well. So what we see with alternative proteins is that there's a very rapidly changing dynamic of the consumers who are interested in these as they grow to different stages. So within marketing, we often talk about, your innovators, your early adopters, early majority, late majority, and all of those
Mhm.
different audiences, they tend to require very different messages to be able to reach them. And with alt proteins, we're at a time where we're seeing a lot of change, where we're going from innovators to early adopters, from early adopters to early majority. And so we need to be keeping up with our marketing messaging. And the best way that we can do that is by testing lots of different content. But testing content is, obviously costly, time consuming. So I think if we can leverage AI to be able to do some of that and kind of simulate it on the computer before we put it out into the real world and put our marketing dollars behind it, I think there's a
Yeah.
real benefit for alt protein companies.
Raw protein. Okay. Interesting. Interesting. Okay. Good. So yeah, I had asked Santosh basically, yeah, if you think it would be possible if AI companies will be able to. This is what a lot of people fear. I'll be honest, it's a little bit in the back of my head. Like I'm like, no way, this isn't going to happen. But you never know. Like myself, for example, I write articles. Also, I do a lot of copywriting. I've been writing for years, and now I can see that Chat GPT can do writing. But I've seen it doesn't write that well. I write a lot better. but 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 you never know. Things can change. Do you think that AI will ever be able to completely just run a company without needing anyone at all? Do you think that would ever be a possibility? I hope it doesn't sound too absurd, but it's just a thought. I'm sure a lot of people think they might say, "Oh, that's ridiculous," but it's somewhere back there. They're thinking like, "Oh, I hope not." Maybe I've seen too many Terminator movies. Go ahead. Go ahead, Sam.
Yeah, so I think that's a really interesting question. I think we're definitely not at that stage yet, but it's definitely not out of the realm of possibilities for maybe 10, 20, 30 years. But then again, I've made these kind of predictions with AI before where I think something's 10 years away and it turns out it's actually 10 days away. So it's
Yeah,
really
yeah,
hard
yeah,
to say with how fast the technology is evolving. But I
yeah.
think that at the moment, we don't really have generalized intelligence yet with AI. What we have tools that are really good at doing specific tasks. I think ChatGPT is kind of like our first little flavor of what a more generalized system might look like, but it still is
Mm.
actually quite limited in its capacity to what it does with really just being a large language model essentially. So I think in order to run a company requires a lot of additional things that our AI systems don't have yet, like cognition and memory. But that's not to say those are unsolvable challenges either. So it is potentially possible.
Okay, okay, excellent. Yeah, and what we're talking about also has Veg Catalyst have you had what's your view on AI is it seems like it's just exploded with Chat GPT, and now it's also in the news at the same exact time, like in parallel, is cultivated meat because it looks like it really is moving forward. I'm curious to know when it's going to be available on the market, at least in the U.S., because it looks like it's getting the green light. So I'm curious to know when it's going to be available in the supermarkets. I don't know if any of you know. I haven't been up to speed on the date, or maybe nobody knows exactly yet. But I'm thinking either towards the end of this year or next year. Do you think there's an equal opportunity for the cultivated meat sector to use AI systems as opposed to the plant-based sector? Or what do you think are the differences?
So I can answer this from a marketing point of view. There's definitely a lot of differences in terms of the messaging around the product and in
Mm.
terms of who the target audience is for that. So we've definitely seen that in a lot of the research that's been coming out as to like consumer acceptance of these products. So I think that again, where we have these kind of products that are very new and we have to craft marketing messages that we haven't actually tried and tested before, I think it is
Yeah.
going to, there's going to be a unique opportunity there with cultured meat. When it comes to plant-based meats, we have a history of these products and we have a history of promoting them. So we kind of have a better idea of what works and whatnot. So
Okay.
that presents some challenges as well because, we have more of the data. So obviously it's much easier to analyze data you have.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's going to be interesting to watch the development of that. I think maybe there will have to be like a little bit more trial and error when it comes to the messaging around that.
Okay. Yeah. 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 I see what you mean. I see what you mean. Yeah. So it's definitely booming. But wow, it's amazing how things. It seems like things just earlier this year suddenly like exploded, like ChatGPT, and then cultivated meat. It's like whoa, whoa, whoa. It's like whoa. It's a sudden revolution that we have going
Yeah.
on. So Sam, you know what? I would like to see. Do you have any of you two have any questions for the other? Sam, are you familiar with the Live Green Company?
Not as familiar as I should be, to be honest.
Okay, okay, okay. Yeah. See, I used to work for The Economist before working with Singular Foods now, and I used to report on them. So they use what's called Charaka, which is a system that it's an AI system. So they've been using it actually before it was even a thing. I think they were one of the first, if not the first, plant-based company that was using AI technology to improve their systems. And then yeah, so I don't know if any of you have any questions for the other one. I think this is the first time you've seen each other face to face, quote unquote. Uh, yeah, so I don't know if you have any.
No questions per se, but this is wonderful. I was just looking at Veg Catalyst, and the again, although we are a product company, I think in Sam's domain, AI is equally prevalent. In fact, it's getting adopted much faster,
Yeah.
particular marketing space, and it bodes very well for that industry. There's so much of creativity happening around, and Sam, I'm really impressed with what's happening in stable diffusion and chat gpt and algorithm and language models. There's so much of innovation coming in from all corners, and it's fantastic time to be in the industry right now.
Definitely a very exciting time for AI in general, right?
Right.
Yeah, yeah, it's definitely we definitely have some exciting things happening in the plant-based space, and everything changing and everything there. So yeah, so that's excellent. So what else? So let's talk a little bit about the future. So Santosh, what's in the future? First of all, go ahead and tell me what do you think is in the future for the Live Green Co. Yeah, do you have anything else? Any I don't know any interesting things you'd like to speak about the future? Any future moves with the Live Green Company? Because I know it started out very small in Chile, and now it's has headquarters in Boston, and now you have people in India and Chile, and yeah, go ahead.
So, like I mentioned, we are a company that's focused on building Charaka technology solutions to create food products that can service the population at large, and be an enabler, a change agent for the food industry. As part of that, increasing our database, increasing the depth of a database, increasing our breadth of the database is one of the top priorities that we have for us. And
Mm.
like earlier in the call, we are talking about the options that nature provides in creating very relevant, effective food products for the planet as such. And our goal is to make that transition happen as fast as possible. We want to increase our database to around close to about 450,000 plants over a period of time, which is what the world offers.
Mm.
And that's our focus. And that directly means lots of data where patterns need to be identified, solutions need to be created. And in fact, Bill Gates today posted in his blog post that, the processing speed, the processing power, or the input output power of a human brain is almost 100,000 times lesser than what a computer can do. So we've
Oh
got two,
boy.
right? Either we operate at a speed which is, 100,000 times slower, or we embrace technology and, make things happen. And, that's the direction that we are going on. And, our goal is to, increase the scope of our database, increase the depth of our database, and make solutions for the planet, plant-based, plant-only solutions for the planet.
Excellent, excellent. I can't wait. I've never tried any of the Live Green Co's company products. Hope to be able to
Yeah.
find them.
Yes. We've got actually 45 product formulations right now, and
Okay.
and many of them are available in the market. So please feel free to try and drop me a note for sure.
Oh, definitely. I'll let you know. I'll let you know. Great. And Sam, so what's in the future for Veg Catalyst? How I know it's pretty recent. How long have you had Veg Catalyst right now?
So the first sort of company within the brand within the company, I should say, was about a year and a half ago. We started the vegan marketing agency, and VEG3, our artificial intelligence side, that's been
Okay.
publicly facing for about 3 to 4 months now.
Okay. Great. So what's in store for the future? What do you have? Or if it's secret, that's fine. But if you have anything you'd like to reveal to our public here, to our audience, go ahead.
That's okay. There's parts that are secret and parts that I can tell you. So I'll tell you what I can.
Okay.
So yeah, we're in the process of working towards some really big changes with the software. We're actually about to launch a crowdfunding equity campaign
Okay.
to raise some more capital to basically create a much more powerful version of VEG3. So at the moment, what we have is we have a lot of very powerful models that are kind of isolated to specific tasks. And this kind of goes to the problem I mentioned before about how we don't have much in the way of generalized intelligence, but we have a plan to create that essentially for vegan marketing. So we know a way that we can connect a lot of these models, add a whole bunch more into the infrastructure, and have them train each other while also simultaneously learning from each individual user's marketing data. So the end result of that will be a much more powerful and intuitive system, one that you can kind of just interact with very naturally, and it can actually do research on your behalf, take actions on your behalf, make predictions on your behalf. So yeah, so essentially it's all of the models we have now communicating with a whole bunch extra models added in as well.
Okay. Okay, great. Excellent. So,
And just to add to one of your
go ahead,
previous points,
Santosh.
just one more thing I'm very excited about. I want to mention that because it's kind of related to one of the points you mentioned earlier. We are looking also at precision fermentation. One of the points you mentioned earlier, precision fermentation on Chiraca, in expanding and using protein databases as solutions. It becomes very relevant for the Al protein topic. And, that's
Yeah.
an area also I'm very excited about.
Yeah, I think there's
Okay,
so much
great.
potential there.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, we're living in pretty interesting times. Stuff that when I was younger, I was like, is this actually gonna be a reality? And a lot of things are happening. I'm really glad cultivated meat is finally, taking that step forward. I've been waiting for a long time. I was like, where is it? What's happening? What's taking so long? So hopefully now that it'll be approved in the U.S., it'll be approved in Europe and then around the world, including India and New Zealand, where both of you are. So, do you have any final message to our audience here? Would any of you have any final words before we finish?
I'd say, it's a very exciting time to be in. The Al protein is a space that is set to grow. In fact, it's required for the market. It's required for the planet. I was looking at singular foods. I think you mentioned 9 billion people to feed. That's a
Yeah,
lot of people to feed. Innovation needs to happen in the food industry, and that's
yeah,
going to happen only by embracing technology. All right. So we all should be very excited about the changes in the market and do our best to contribute in a sustainable and friendly manner.
excellent. Thank you, Sam. Do you have any final words?
Yeah, absolutely. So completely agree with what Santosh said. And I would also add, I think that, we've seen a lot of change that's been happening over these past few months, but I think that it's very important people keep their eyes open because bigger changes are yet to come. What we're seeing with computing, we've seen this like since the birth of computing. There's been just exponential growth. We used to talk about Moore's law, for example. Every 2 years, we doubled in computation power. Now we're seeing computation power doubling every 3 to 4 months. So since the rise of AI, things are happening a lot faster. And if you've been kind of, following the releases of some of these models, the time frame between these huge breakthroughs in the technology are just dramatically shortening all the time. So there has been big change recently, but bigger changes are about to happen, in the coming months, coming weeks, coming years. So I think it's very important that we, stay at the forefront of that, watching what's happening, so that we don't get left behind by others who are doing the same thing.
Yeah, definitely. It's definitely important to be up to speed because you don't want to get left behind. Whether we like it or not, things are changing. I was afraid to open Chat GPT at first. I was like, no. But I'm like, I was curious. So now I've been on it and I'm asking questions like, I've been pretty curious. So now I think it'll just be like Google, it'll just be like a normal thing. What do you do? Oh, I just ask Chat. Where's Chat? Ask Chat. So great. So excellent. So, Antonio Barrera, he's the owner of Singular Foods. He sent me a message just now. He said, thank you for joining us. Also, thank you on my behalf. Thank you on behalf of Singular Foods. It was great speaking to the both of you, and I hope we can definitely keep in touch.
Well, thank you for having us on.
All right. Thank you. And thank you everyone for watching. And I hope you have a good morning, afternoon, or evening, wherever you are or whenever you may be watching this, as this spans time and space. Thank you. And bye-bye. Bye-bye.